Did Boston almost trade Jaylen Brown and Derek White? The answer will shock you. What if I told you the Celtics could have walked away from Jaylen Brown and Derek White this summer? That the phones didn't just ring, they exploded with offers. That executives from across the league were practically begging Brad Stevens to pull the trigger. And yet, in a move that defies typical front office survival instinct, the Celtics said no. But why? This was not some quiet offseason. This was a storm. And at the eye of it were two names: Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Two players who just helped raise Banner 18. Two players that franchises were willing to overpay for because they know something the casual fan might overlook. These guys aren't just part of a title team. They are franchise culture carriers. But still, most expected at least one of them to be moved after Jason Tatum's Achilles injury flipped the chessboard upside down. Behind closed doors, league executives didn't just make calls. They made offers that would have crippled lesser teams with indecision. Toronto dangled the 9th overall pick and tried to package RJ Barrett. Golden State, known for leveraging its championship DNA, tried their luck and then came the Utah Jazz. Fronted by Danny Ainge, the man who built the Celtics' current DNA, Utah reportedly offered the 5th pick and clean financials with expiring contracts. That's the kind of bait that gets most general managers sweating. But not in Boston, because here's the truth: the national media isn't saying loud enough. Boston didn't even flinch. According to multiple reports, nothing came close. The Celtics front office held the line. No panic, no fire sale, no surrender. Even with the terrifying reality that Tatum could miss the entire 2025-26 season, Boston refused to compromise its long-term vision. Think about that for a second. Most teams, after winning a title, would take the safe route. If their best player got hurt, they'd strip it down, tank for a top pick, and call it retooling. Not Boston. The Celtics are trying to do something we haven't seen since the 60s: go back-to-back with grit, not gimmicks. And let's not ignore the financial earthquake they avoided. By moving Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, Brad Stevens ducked under the dreaded second tax apron and saved nearly $180 million. That's not just smart accounting, that's chess. Boston offloaded aging stars while keeping the soul of the team intact. That kind of maneuvering is what turns a one-year title run into a 5-year dynasty window. The belief inside the building? Peyton Pritchard is ready to erupt. Some close to the team are whispering all-star buzz. Georges Niang, though mocked by some fans, is seen internally as a spacing specialist with a playoff body. Anfernee Simons, acquired in the Drew deal, offers scoring versatility Boston hasn't had off the bench in years. The pieces are unconventional, but the plan is not improvisation, it's orchestration. Damian Lillard said no to Boston. But what if that's exactly what the Celtics needed? Why would a 35-year-old point guard with a torn Achilles turn down the defending champions, a potential title run, and the chance to play alongside one of his closest basketball allies? And more importantly, why does this rejection feel like a hidden win for the Boston Celtics? Damian Lillard shocked the NBA world again after being surprisingly waived and stretched by the Bucks just days into free agency. The former All-NBA guard suddenly became available. Phones across the league lit up. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. Would Lillard chase a ring or go back to where it all began? For a moment, Boston was in the spotlight. According to multiple league insiders, the Celtics were not only interested, they were actively recruiting. Jason Tatum, still recovering from his own Achilles tear, reportedly reached out directly. The bond between the two stars runs deep from their Team USA days. They've shared Olympic gold workouts, even whispered dreams of teaming up in green and white dot. It could have been perfect. A seasoned floor general to help carry the offense while Tatum recovers. A cold-blooded closer in tight playoff games. A veteran voice in the locker room. Lillard in Boston made sense. But then, just like that, the dream evaporated. Lillard took a 3-year deal to return to Portland, the franchise that traded him away in 2023. Not Milwaukee, not the Lakers, not the Warriors, not the Celtics, Portland. On the surface, it looks like Boston missed a golden opportunity. But here's the plot twist. Maybe they didn't. Maybe the Celtics just dodged a decision that could have backfired spectacularly. Let's break it down. Lillard is 35. He just suffered the most devastating injury in basketball. He's set to miss most of the 2025-26 season. And yet, his new contract guarantees him a staggering $70 million next season between his Bucks payout and the new deal with Portland. That's without stepping on the court for most of the year. And it comes with a player option and a no-trade clause. In other words, if Boston had signed him, they'd be locked into a massive financial commitment for a player who might never be the same again. Now, ask yourself this: would that version of Damian Lillard truly fit into what the Celtics are building? Boston isn't chasing quick fixes anymore. This isn't the 2017 Kyrie Irving panic trade or the 2020 Kemba Walker experiment. The Celtics are crafting something more sustainable, more deliberate. They've already shown they can win at the highest level, and they're planning to do it again. Not by clinging to past All-Stars, but by evolving around their own. Jaylen Brown is entering the most important year of his career. Without Tatum, he becomes the unquestioned #1 option. Derek White just signed his extension and is emerging as a top-tier defender and playmaker. The Celtics believe Peyton Pritchard can explode this season. And Anthony Simons, brought in from Portland, offers youth, shooting, and energy without the risk that comes with Lillard's profile. Did the Raptors try to steal Jrue Holiday from the Celtics? The answer might change everything. What if the Boston Celtics almost handed one of the best defenders in the league to a division rival in exchange for a rookie question mark? What if the Raptors believed they could pry Jrue Holiday from the reigning champions using just a lottery pick? And what if this failed attempt tells us more about Boston's true strategy than anyone expected? Let's cut to the chase. Toronto wasn't just poking around this offseason. They wanted pieces of the Celtics championship core. Not one, but two of them: Derek White and Jrue Holiday. That's not curiosity. That's a calculated move to dismantle the Celtics from within. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher, the Raptors aggressively pursued both guards, offering the no-9 pick in the 2025 draft. The idea was simple: use draft capital to tempt Boston into sacrificing stability for youth. And for a brief moment, it looked like something might happen. But then came the twist. Boston didn't blink. While the public was distracted by the headline-grabbing trades of Porzingis and Holiday, something far more important was happening behind closed doors. Teams across the league were circling like vultures, hoping the Celtics would panic after Tatum's injury. They didn't. Instead, Brad Stevens pulled off a financial and tactical pivot that quietly redefined the Celtics' future. Let's dig into the Raptors' offer. A top 10 pick in a draft that most scouts are calling shallow at the top. No clear superstar, no guaranteed all-star, just potential and long-term development timelines. Toronto thought that would be enough to snatch away a former NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most respected locker room leaders in the league. Why would they think that would work? Because historically, this is when teams make mistakes. When star players go down, when cap space shrinks, when pressure mounts, that's when desperation trades happen. But Boston refused to bite. They understood something fundamental. You don't give away elite defense in championship leadership for a gamble. You restructure smartly, and that's exactly what they did by sending Holiday to Portland and receiving Anthony Simons in return. Boston didn't just save money, they secured flexibility. Simons, with his scoring upside and expiring deal, gives Boston options. If he fits, he stays. If he doesn't, he becomes a valuable trade asset by February. Meanwhile, the Celtics avoid the risk of being weighed down by Holiday's massive salary and possible physical decline over the next few seasons. Toronto didn't stop at Holiday. They made a separate run at Derek White. But here's where the story takes a sharper turn. Golden State joined the chase too. Multiple title contenders were practically elbowing each other to get in line for White. Why? Because every GM in the league knows what Boston fans are just starting to grasp. Derek White is no longer a role player. He's a foundational piece. Could the Los Angeles Lakers have just lost a key piece of their future in a meaningless summer league game? And did it all unravel in a single moment against the team they fear most? Darius Bazley was supposed to be a hidden gem, a quiet signing that could pay massive dividends for a Lakers squad desperately trying to get younger, more athletic, and more versatile. But instead, what happened on the hardwood in Las Vegas might have just torched one of the Lakers' biggest offseason experiments. And the irony, it happened against the Boston Celtics. With under-the-radar momentum building around Bazley's comeback arc, Lakers insiders were buzzing. 7 points, 7 boards per game, strong defense, hustle plays, smart positioning. He wasn't trying to be a star, he was trying to stick, and it was working. Until everything collapsed in an instant. Driving hard to the rim, Bazley planted his right leg and went down awkwardly, his face twisted in agony. He couldn't stand. Moments later, a wheelchair was brought out. The building went silent. Lakers staff looked stunned, and across the court, Celtics personnel watched closely, knowing exactly how high the stakes really were, because this wasn't just another summer league injury. This was a gut punch to a Lakers team already on shaky ground. Here's what people aren't talking about. Bazley was being groomed for a very specific role in Los Angeles, a rangy forward off the bench who could defend multiple positions, crash the glass, and give the Lakers second unit stability they lacked last season. With questions still looming about Jared Vanderbilt's health and the constant uncertainty around Rui Hachimura's consistency, Bazley was viewed internally as a contingency plan with serious upside, and now that plan might be gone. But what does this have to do with the Celtics? More than you think. While the Lakers scramble to adjust, Boston quietly benefits. Bazley's injury creates ripple effects. It reshuffles Los Angeles' depth chart. It potentially forces them to chase another free agent or make a trade. It adds pressure to a front office already under fire for a quiet offseason. And most importantly, it weakens their ability to match up with Boston's evolving second unit, which now includes scoring threats like Anthony Simons and versatile bigs like Neemias Queta. Let's be clear, Boston didn't cause this injury, but they may have indirectly exposed something. The fragility of the Lakers' offseason plan, the lack of true depth, the over-reliance on veteran retreads and summer league flyers.